Guess I'm recording. You don't need to hear me. That fire's so much better. Status report. It's a clear night. November 7th, I believe. Almost a full moon. It's pretty bright. I'm just waiting for it to pass overhead enough so I can peer. I don't think I can peer at it through the smoke hole up there, but I'm hoping. That's been a dream of mine since I was a pup, to see the moon through that hole, but I can just look out the door. Oh my goodness. Yeah, beautiful night. And I'm stating for a fact that politics shall not be discussed about or thought upon in this teepee, in my abode. I didn't explain that. That rattle and that deer skull with the medicine wheel on it was given to me by Simon Otto, a medicine man, half Odawa and then half Ojibwe. Fine, fine man, a friend that I miss dearly. And that drum, I got that from a fellow by the name of John Two Hawks. Check his channel out. He hasn't been active in a little while, but love his music. He's just a great guy. And that little medicine pouch there contains the arrowhead. The first arrowhead, successful arrowhead that a Lakota, he's gone now. He was an elder. I made a bow for him so he would be able to get a deer, bag a deer, and then share the meat with his friends at a powwow with a bow that was typical, pardon the sniffling, of his tribe. And so he gave me that. That's still a treasure of mine. Let's talk handsaws. I've been watching some videos scoffing. I am that silky guy that when there's a review of a Corona or a Baco or any other saw, I'm like, there's only one saw. It's a silky. You know, I don't know what it is. People just are not able to understand that there's only one manufacturer of handsaws worth buying, and those are Silkies. That is an 8-year-old Silky Katana Boy, and it is sitting upon. Let me tell you a story. And so, I drank my coffee yesterday and wandered around and wasted some time, and I was outside my door a little after 9 o'clock in the morning. Yes, I was a late riser. I sauntered ever so gingerly. I'm trying to paint a picture that's worthy of a fire. Ever so gingerly down to my pole barn and grabbed my wheelbarrow, my mule, my cart, that is entitled in its nom de plume is Relentless. And I took my Silky and my wheelbarrow and I walked a half mile down the trails. Yes, I manage a trail system, so I use saws a lot. All I had was my wheelbarrow, my will to gather firewood, and that Silky Katana Boy. And there was a dead black ash. It was hard. It was field season. It was laying on top of other logs for the past 3 or 4 years. Hard as a rock. Hard as a black ash tree can be. And so I gathered 3 poles, starting at about 8 inches in diameter. I did not use a chainsaw. I used my hand-powered chainsaw, that Silky Katana Boy, which is 8 years old and has seen a lot of use, both as in my employ as a professional tree guy, swinging from ropes and trimming trees. I would use that Katana Boy instead of a chainsaw if the limbs were, under a certain diameter. When I was soloing, doing my own thing, under 8 inches diameter, hardwood limbs, maple, oak, ash. That saw cuts through them. 8 years of stuff. If there's a big balsam fir or a spruce tree that falls on the trail, I don't use a chainsaw, I use that Katana Boy. That Katana Boy has seen 8 years of hard use. Well, anyway, sauntered from my house to the pole barn. Let me recap. Grabbed the wheelbarrow, that Silky Katana Boy, it's an investment, and went down and I sawed 3 logs off of that ash tree. And that's not a sapling. That's not a green sapling. That is a man tree. That is a hard, seasoned, actual tree, a black ash. Carried the poles up here in the wheelbarrow, pushed them, half a mile, 1 mile round trip, adding into the time. And by 11:30, I had, not using a chainsaw, using that Silky Katana Boy, had processed and split 5 days, long burning days, because I've got a fire going all the time, of black ash. No chainsaw used, just that silky katana boy. I am warming myself on the fruits of that labor. Now you may say that I'm not going to spend $150 or whatever it is, I don't know what they cost now, on a katana boy. I'm going to buy a bunch of cheaper handsaws. Well, you don't scoff at buying a high quality custom made knife. You may not buy one, but you understand. You pay now or pay later, my friends. You pay now for one silky katana boy that works the same way as a chainsaw. That's a two-handed saw. That was made by a company that started out in life making katanas for samurai swords, for samurais. And that's lasted me 8 years of not sitting in my closet dreaming about surviving, but day-to-day hard use on hardwood trees as well as softwood. What about the value of sleep? Do you want to just gather little sticks for your fire and wake up every so often to feed the fire? Or do you want to use real firewood without having to carry a chainsaw? Well, katana boy. That's it. What about, I don't want to carry a big two-handed saw like that. That's a folding saw, so it only carries in half that length. Would you rather spend 2.5 hours after carrying a relatively large folding handsaw? Or would you rather spend, I don't know how many hours to use a lesser saw to gather this firewood that'll let you just kick back and enjoy and tell boring stories to all your friends? There is only one maker of saws, Silkies. In the comment sections, you'll see, well, they broke that saw because they were pushing instead of pulling. Well, you're not going to break a Silky saw doing that, because it's got such fine spring steel that bends, it doesn't break, and impulse hardened teeth. What are some other things? I don't know. All I'm saying is that I'm not going to talk politics in here, but I am going to talk handsaws. You appreciate fine tools, do you not? You're going to buy an antique draw knife because they're made well, they don't break. Buy a good saw. Buy a good knife. You're not going to settle for a $10 eBay knife when you can get like a $40 decent knife. If you could afford it, you'd get a $400 custom-made knife that you know is beautiful. Same deal with saws, my friends. Now, when you end this video, this pleasurable watching of this fire, I want you to ponder something. I want you to ponder how truly important being able to cut trees and limbs and sections of trees is. How absolutely important it is to have the best handsaw you can get. And they're affordable. You know, I've got my Ibuki down here, which I don't use. I use that Silky for everything, even small things. You get a running start. You start your movement above, away from the little thing you're cutting, and then you swoop down and nab it, and it just knocks it right off. And that is it. I also saw this thing. It was called the Lightning Strike Fire Starter, and this thing was realistically is as large physically and probably heavier than 6 or 8 Bic lighters. Bic lighters to me are the ultimate survival fire starter. If you had keen eyes, you would notice that there's birch bark on that pile. I don't need 5,000 degree sparks to start a fire. None of us do if we're in the north. If we have access to birch bark, a simple Bic lighter can get things started, you know, pretty easily. And I've heard in comment sections, those comment sections, that Bics don't work in extremely cold weather. Well, all I do is I just keep that Bic lighter next to my body. And I've started fires in 20 below zero weather with a Bic lighter. They're cheap, they work, and that's all. I'll shut up now. Again, I haven't slept well last night. Dreaming about things can cause interruptions in your sleep. How about a moonshot? In for a penny, in for a pound.